Alright, Mitchell back with more patterns from AGO, finishing up the trilogy of Mitchell fights the dudes in green with Cameron here in the Elims fight. This one was way harder to find kind of a through line for, but I really wanted to do a trilogy of fighting the green guys, so it was necessary. I think I got something out of it. There's definitely a lot to learn in this fight. It just there weren't as many consistent exchanges, though there are some consistent themes, so we're going to have to go talk about those. We're going to start here with what I think I was trying to do at the beginning of the fight, and I did sort of successfully on this one, really kind of rules lawyered my way into points on this one. And then we can go look at some of how it went for the rest of the fight, trying this strategy. Look at how Cameron made this strategy work in at least one exchange, and then go look at what I ended up changing that worked a lot better. All right, let's hit it up. Nice. So what we see there, this is actually fun footwork. I really like the setup on this one. But as I'm coming through here, what I'm really trying to do for most of this fight is hit over. I think that's been working for me against a lot of other people, but Cameron's both really tall and really clever, and that is a bad combination. So I come around here, boop, we set up sideways. I like this. Cameron is repositioning to try and cut me off. I don't like that. And so this one, we launch a little shield how, pretty sure, yeah. Aiming down, the nice thing about this is because it wipes a little more sideways, even though Cameron's squirting this way, I can still get that hit in and make it work. And you can definitely tell that I'm going high because, like, look at my whole posture here. Oops, sorry, hang on. Like, look at my whole posture here. If we kind of look in there, you can see that I've extended this leg up. This hip is pushing way hard forward. And my hands are now in line with my shoulders. So all of that tells me that I'm pushing high, trying to come over the top of the tall guy to land a hit. And in this case, it works, sort of. So we can see that this comes in here and lands, and then his hit comes around. Now the problem with this is I've gone so high and so fast that, kind of like in a lot of my other fights here, I am just on a ride. I'm coming out this way, coming straight at us, and there's no stopping. Because of that, there's this huge opening off to this side that Cameron just gets to exploit and take a nice afterblow to my head. Because of the rules, if I hit him in the head and he afterblows me, it doesn't count. That's kind of cheap, but it's what worked out in this round. So I got hit, but I got points. The important bit here, though, is that this going high over Cameron was not my best move. It didn't leave me defended, and because of how fast I had to go, because he's longer than me, I was putting myself out of position to do anything afterwards. So let's jump to another exchange where we can see another way that this didn't go so good for me. Boom. So we can see coming through here, we're doing some setup, we're trying to find a place, we find an angle that we're happy with apparently. Cameron gets the jump right about here and decides to come forward for a little thrust or a cut to the body. Cool move. I'm like, hey, I'm tall, I will just suck my body back and go up really high and hit him in the head. Cool thought, except that I have already been hit down here, so this hit doesn't really matter. But again, this is just an example of trying to go high so that I can lean over and use what little height I have against what height he has. I think overall this is a better strategy for Cameron, and we can see him use it a couple times throughout. So let's go look at something that a couple exchanges that go well for Cameron using this strategy. Alright, so nobody wants any time to settle on this one. I'm going to come in, I'm going to set up, and I'm immediately going to launch straight down the pipe. Cameron's like, I know how to do that. There's a little head lean over this way. I think that does avoid the thrust and just immediately drops a shot right here. Now, I'm about as high up as I can go, but Cameron's smart and taking a little bit of an outside angle so he can come around that blade and down there. And again, tall and long, and now he knows it, and he manages to peg me on the dome, even though oh, that was his, yeah. Looks like he comes in on the opposite side of the sword that I was paying attention to. Yeah. So thrust comes out. Cameron, actually, this is his sword, and my sword's going off this way, so he's actually displacing it that way. Pushing it off to the side with that lean, and then coming in over the top of it. That's honestly even better. So good for Cameron. That's how he's been using this to kind of counter a lot of the hits that I've been doing. So even if I get them, I get afterblowed really hard. Not like really hard power-wise, I just get hit. I got one more of those to look at, and then we can go ahead and talk about what we changed to make it better. Nice. So short thing, but effective on that. Cameron comes on in, boom. I set up for a second. Cameron says, I don't believe in setting up. Throws a feint on the way in, and then comes around to the other side. You can see it's up, and then without retracting very much, pop off to the other side. And this nice high posture, which is up over my sword and hits it. He's maybe leaned himself a little off his weight, which is something that we're going to use in a second, or off his base, but can't argue with the results, and Cam's got good enough feet that he can move around it. So boop, boop, off there, and I've already been hit, and try and slide out. So good for him. I don't know why the judges called it that way. It's not important. Maybe they had a better angle. Let's move on to the next bit, so then we'll talk about what changed. Neat. So a very different kind of exchange here. What I was doing was not working for me, so I had to find something else. So what we ended up doing here is play little foots out here. This swing comes in a little wide because Cameron's been used to me meeting him in the middle, so he's waiting for me to kind of help arrest him, and I don't feel like it this time. So we pull back and we snipe over the top. Pop. I think the really important bit on this is the setup. Anything like this, the setup is the important part. So we play a little hand snipey on the outside there, but I'm doing a better job of keeping range than I have been for most of the fight. And then when to get Cameron to come in, I have to pop into distance like I'm going to go high, which I've been doing fast and hard the whole time. So that's kind of what he's expecting. So we stomp, we settle briefly, and then we start moving backwards here. Just a little cheeky slip. Just out of range. Hands are low. I think my hands are low just so that there's less of me to hit up here, but it probably would have been better to have them up for some insurance. But it looks cooler this way. And then as we slip back, we make a shot high. Notice that my front foot has pulled back here. We're going to pivot on this foot and move out this way so that he's got somewhere to go. And his sword, because he's a right-handed person, it's over here, so he's got a longer way to travel. So pivoting out to this side is going to work best for us. That also gives us our longest shot. This is the fun thing about fighting right-handed people, is that symmetry is very convenient. So yeah, then we can scooch out this way. Well, Cameron leans that way, trying to parry that shot that's already landed. Probably would have been better to put my sword in a different position to catch an afterblow, but I didn't, because I'm thinking up, and I still haven't gotten out of that mindset, even though I found a better strategy of bait and void and attack. All right, one last exchange for this one. All right, second verse, same as the first on this one. Come in, again, stomp. Okay, yay! There's some funny stuff in this one too, but let's roll through the serious stuff first. So I'm coming up in here, I'm like, cool, so the bait worked, so I'm going to do a little stompy, I'm going to do another little stompy, I'm going to do another one. Oh, come on, Cameron, bite on my stompies. So this last stomp, I think works better, one, because it's the closest, and I've set up a pattern, so Cameron's like, well, he's going to do it, I know what he's going to do. And also I throw this cut, which makes me look a little more committed, which gives Cameron space to come on in. I think if he had launched a thrust right there, that would have worked even better for him. It looks like he had to choke back a little bit, which gave me just enough time to do what I want. Now here we can see exactly how this over the top thing has kind of conditioned both of us. Cameron is really used to me launching in high over the top, so he's launching in high over the top, which is, again, he's taller. It's better for him in this instance. But this stance puts his weight way off his base, so it looks like he's reaching, but his hips are all the way back here. And if his hips were farther forward, he would actually probably have more range and have covered more ground more stably and hit me. But again, he's trying to come up high and get this over top angle, which has worked for him in the rest of the fight. He's covered quite a few points with it. So we've managed to do that, but that's going to get him committing forward a little bit, which we can use to our advantage here with our little stompies. So we've made our stompy, we've gotten him to bite, and now he's coming in here. Now here's again this high-low dynamic that's going on. Cameron's missed his shot, so he's going to come in low, and I'm going to come over high. And I'm actually going to jump. I think I'm just kind of scared of the sword down here. So as Cameron comes back through, we do a little hop, which is random. I don't know. Anyway, the hop doesn't matter because we land a nice shot there. And as long as we hit the head, we got points for that one. The really funny part here is that Cameron comes right up between my legs and we get this excellent freeze frame where I've got a nice bend there. And as our friend Maeve put it, I'm about to be comically launched into the air with a boing. So that's fun. Great shot. Good thought on Cameron's part. I'm very proud of figuring this one out because it was a really difficult fight that required me to kind of adapt and change, and it took me a long time to do it. Cameron fought this really well and gave me a lot of really challenging bits that taught me a lot during the thing. So thanks, Cameron. It was an awesome fight, and now we're done with green guys, so I can go and talk about people who are not in green. Bye.